So, you might be wondering what it really takes to learn to sing in public without feeling self-conscious fast, so that you can share your singing full of confidence in whatever context that you want, whether that's the shower, the stage, in a choir, at your friend's birthday party, letting someone else hearing you sing without freezing up, panicking, or anything that might be holding you back. And that's why in this episode, you will discover the 3 key shifts that you need to make that will help you to build up that confidence quickly so that you can sing in public and actually really enjoy the experience instead of fearing the whole thing. So let's dive into it. Hi, my name is Maggie. I'm the founder of the Singing Insiders, in which I help passionate singers just like yourself become the best versions of themselves through singing. And in these episodes, you're going to get practical tools, insights, ahas, techniques, exercises to really help you up-level your singing skills. Now, before we dive into the 3 key shifts that will help you to sing in public with confidence, let's talk about some common mistakes that I notice many beginner singers make and how you can overcome those to not having to make those mistakes and go faster within your vocal journey. The first one is overthinking. And with that, I mean overthinking every note instead of trusting your voice. That is what many beginner singers tend to do. Instead of trusting that they have learned what they need to learn, they have practiced, they keep on analyzing and keep on overthinking. Now, I get that there's a fine line between practicing so that you can get to that ideal desired outcome and then over-practicing. So what trained singers actually do to fix this is that they shift their focus from perfect and sounding perfect to, does it connect with my audience, with my listener? Perfection can oftentimes keep you stuck, because perfection is this ideal that we could argue doesn't exist. Connection, on the other hand, is, in my opinion, but that's just my belief, is why we do what we do. Do we sing to sound perfect, or do we sing to connect, inspire someone, move someone with the beauty and the power of our voices, right? Second mistake that I see many beginner singers make is avoiding to sing in public until they feel ready. So one of the things I hear many singers that I start working with is, okay, I will join this open mic session once I can actually sing this song how it should be and when I feel ready. And I totally get where that's coming from, because we have this belief of it needs to be good before I show something. What trained singers do instead is starting small. And even though they might not feel ready, they're still putting themselves in situations that allow them to grow, that allow them to experience something and learn from that lesson. An example, if singing on stage is too big of a step, a trained singer will choose to record themselves and share that recording with someone else and then learn from that experience. So it's not a matter of feeling ready, it's a matter of being open to learning new things. Third mistake that I see many beginner singers make when wanting to sing in public is letting the nerves take over. With that, I mean, when we're feeling unsafe in a particular situation, like for example, singing on stage, our brain will send off alarms and our body will react to that. So our nervous system goes into this heightened state. And that's where breathing comes up high and we're starting to have sweaty palms and there's so much energy going to our feet because we're ready to run away, right? So our nervous system is in the red zone. And many beginner singers, they stay there and they let their shoulders tense up and their jaw locks, and then obviously we cannot sing freely when we're in that space. So trained singers, they actually train themselves, train their brain, and train their nervous system to release that. With that, I mean, when you're finding yourself in a situation that might feel unsafe, like, for example, sing on stage, my brain sees that as a threat, so it will influence my body. What I can do, knowing that singing on stage is something that I actually will enjoy, is calming down my body so that I can tell my brain, hey, it's okay. We're safe. There's no lion here to attack us. So trained singers actually have those tools in their back pocket. They know how to regulate themselves. So those are the three big mistakes that I see. And once you're aware that you might be doing them, you can obviously shift that. So let's look at those three key shifts, or I like to call them ingredients, that you need to actually sing in public freely without feeling insecure, right? The first one might seem obvious, but hear me out. The first one is technique. If you want to be able to sing in public with ease, it's way easier to do when you know that you have a voice that will do what it needs to do. In other words, if you know that you can sing on pitch, that you can sing the high notes without any problem, that you can sing the rhythm how it's supposed to, like all the technical side of things, if you know that that's something that you master, then it will be way easier to sing in public. It seems logic, right? Now, the catch to this is that there's a certain order to go through the vocal techniques. Many singers that are so excited when we start working together, they want to do the belting, singing the high powerful notes, and then the vocal effects, right? They want to do all those advanced techniques. But I cannot teach you how to belt if you don't have a proper breath support in place, for example. So there's a specific order in how to train your voice. First, you need to learn this technique, then you need to learn that technique. And then we build on to this one, right? So it's a really important distinction. There's an order to the things that we do. That's the first ingredient, technique, logic, right? Second ingredient is trust. This is a big one. Trusting yourself and trusting your voice. Why do we feel anxious when we're singing in public? Oftentimes, singers tell me it's because they're scared that they will mess something up. Maybe they will sing off pitch. That is not trusting yourself nor trusting your voice. If you can get to a place of genuine trust in yourself and in your voice, knowing that what needs to be sung will be sung how it's supposed to be sung because you trust your voice and you start singing in public from that place, that is a way more powerful place than panic. As I said before, this is about regulating your nervous system. When we put ourselves in situations like singing in public, again, whether that's on stage, in the choir, at a karaoke party, our brain will sometimes see that as a threat, depending on what happened in our past. And when our brain sees a threat, it will prepare our body to fight that threat, to run away, or to freeze. And my body will react to that. That's where our nervous system is in that heightened state. So we want to be able to regulate our nervous system so that we can start from a centered place. Also, it's not just about the body, it's about our brain. We need to tell our brain that it's safe to sing in public. So it's also a matter of rewiring our thought patterns. If I believe that singing in public is scary, singing in public is a place for me to, feel shame if I'm making a mistake. If I believe all of those things, then obviously I'm not going to feel safe in that situation. If I believe that singing on stage is fun that singing in public inspires people, that I get to make a real difference in the world by sharing my story, my musical story, well, that's a whole different intention. And that's going to give you a whole different feeling. So I'm just rewiring my thoughts. So it's a matter of the brain work and the body. Those two go hand in hand. Now, if this was super valuable for you so far, then I invite you to hit like and hit subscribe here down below so that you can keep on being updated when new episodes just like this one come out. So we had our two first ingredients. The most important one, well, they're all important, but there's one more that we need to go through. The first one was technique. The second ingredient was that trust. The third ingredient is what I love to call the truth ingredient, singing your truth. In other words, singing in your own unique and authentic way, being creative, not being scared of sharing your authentic personality. This can be done through many, many different things. One of them is, for example, improvisation. This is where we're starting to build, let me use the metaphor of a parachute. If you're in a plane and you're gonna jump out of the plane without a parachute, would you be scared? I would be, because that's life-threatening. If I would jump out of a plane and I do have a parachute, would the level of being scared be less or higher? It would be less for me. And I did this. I did twice. I did parachute jumping twice. And it was scary, obviously, but, I jumped because I knew I had a parachute. Without a parachute, I would not have jumped. Does that make sense? So the truth ingredient is your parachute. And that might look like having the skill to improvise. Improvisation, when you get to be free with your voice and not be scared about not knowing what to sing. Even if you forget your lyrics, you can always go back to, I'm just going to improvise a little bit. And then you're off to the races. Another way for that parachute to come up, so improvisation is one of them, is, for example, vocal variation, storytelling, connecting to the emotions of the song. All of those ingredients are your parachute. They're there to help you feel safe when you're singing in public. I hope that makes sense. So it's where all those three pillars come together. Because hopefully you can see that vocal training is not just about training the voice. It's really a holistic approach. It's, yes, training the voice in the right way, using the right vocal techniques, and then combine that with regulating your nervous system, rewiring your thoughts for more empowering ones, and tapping into that authentic expression, that creativity. Those three together will help you sing in public without feeling self-conscious. Now, I've put together a video for this that will dive deeper into this and tell you exactly what you can do to get to that place of what I call vocal freedom. That's where those three elements come together. So my invitation to you really is to go through that episode next. I will link to it in the description here down below. I will also link to it here that you can click somewhere. But this is really where we can take this conversation further and bring it all home and go even in more details. So I'm looking forward to see you there. Thank you so much for having been here today, and we'll talk soon. Bye.